I have been in a battle to prevent and repair cracks in the pottery I fashion. I have tested using Nepheline Syenite in my slip, which makes the slip useful to repair cracks and add parts to an existing, already fired pottery piece. This video may help you understand why the added flux is important. To add a glassy element to clay slip, making it harder, tighter, and potentially glossier, vitrified, you need to add fluxes. Fluxes are minerals that lower the melting point of the silica already present in your clay, causing it to melt and turn into glass within the clay body. Here are the best minerals to add, depending on your goal and firing temperature. 1. The heavy hitters, fluxes. These are the most effective minerals for turning a dry, matte slip into a hard, semi-gloss or glass-like surface, often called an engobe. Frits, for example, Ferro-Frit 3124 or 3110, best for low to mid-fire, cone 04 to 6. Why? Frits are essentially pre-fired glass ground into a powder. They are powerful melters. Adding 10 to 20% frit to a slip recipe will significantly tighten it and give it a slight sheen. At higher percentages, the slip may start to look like a glaze. Nepheline Syenite, best for mid to high fire, cone 6 to 10. Why? This is a powerful feldspar that melts at a lower temperature than standard feldspars. It is the standard go-to for making vitreous or glass-like slips and engobes in stoneware and porcelain. Feldspar, Custer, Minspar, or G200, best for high fire, cone 10. Why? Standard potter's feldspars work well at very high temperatures to fuse the slip, though they are less glassy than Nepheline Syenite at mid-range temperatures. Number 2, the glass former, silica, or flint or quartz. Roll, silica is glass. However, you rarely add silica alone to a slip to make it glassy. Silica has a very high melting point, and if you add it without a flux, it will actually make the slip drier and more matte. You add silica in combination with feldspar or frit to ensure there is enough glass-making material to be melted by the flux. Number 3, the sheen modifiers. Talc. Roll. In low fire bodies, small amounts of talc can help promote a silky feel, though it is less glassy than a frit. Ball clay. Roll. While technically a clay, ball clay is much higher in silica than kaolin. Substituting the clay portion of your slip with ball clay will result in a tighter, denser, and slightly glassier finish than using straight kaolin or EPK. Practical application. How to mix it. If you are trying to turn a standard slip into a glassy slip, engobe, you generally move away from a 100% clay recipe. A common starting ratio for a vitreous slip is 50 to 70% clay, kaolin or ball clay provides structure and fit. 20 to 40% flux, Nepheline Syenite or frit, the glassy element. 10 to 20% silica ensures hardness. Alternative method, terra sigillata. If you want a glassy shine without adding glass chemicals, you might be looking for terra sigillata. Process. This involves mixing clay with a deflocculant like sodium silicate or Darvan and water, letting the heavy particles settle and harvesting only the finest particles from the top. Result, when applied thin and burnished, rubbed, it creates a natural high-gloss glassy shine without any glaze, purely due to the alignment of microscopic clay platelets. A warning on fit. When you add glassy minerals to slip, you change its shrinkage. If you add too much flux or glass, the slip will stop shrinking because glass doesn't shrink like clay does, while your pot continues to shrink in the drying and firing. This causes the slip to flake off or pop off. Rule of thumb, Apply glassy slips to bisqueware or bone dry ware rather than wet ware, or adjust the recipe to ensure it fits the dampness of the pot.
This piece here is to hold incense. So, and catch the ash that comes off of it. And I used an underglaze on the bottom and a dark brown glaze around the piece. And right in the center, I put a green marble, glass marble. So when I fired it, the glass marble filled in the hole I had made for the um, incense stick, which made it useless for that purpose. So I thought, well, why not see if I can just add something to this piece. Now remember, this I had already done a bisque firing before I applied the uh, glaze, the glazes, and then I put the marble in there and fired it completely, which melted the green marble, and it spread more than I thought it would. I should have made the indention deeper so it wouldn't get back in the hole that I needed to have for the incense stick. So anyway, I took some clay, same clay that I made the body out of, and rolled up a little ball and put it here and stuck a hole in it. And then I took my um, slip, which I've added the flux to make it glassy, and then coated all that area with clear glaze, and I fired it again. So that was the third firing on this piece. Well, it came through the firings just fine, and it's it's very glassy, very functional. This is a crazy piece of pottery, uh, but I guess that's going to be my trademark. No two pieces are alike. But that having this functionality of being able to add something, uh, some feature after it's been fired and firing it again and having it all hold together um, is an important thing for the way I work. Um, um, Salvador Dali, not to compare me with him, but in an interview, somebody asked him, he said, "When do you know when you're what is it when you start a painting? Do you know uh, what your goal is?" And he said, "No, I don't." And they said, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "I just put paint on a canvas until I like it, then it's done." Well, uh, that's sort of what I'm doing here. No two pieces are alike. One other thing you'll notice here along the edge that uh, I had so much clear glaze that it rolled off the side and created a puddle on the bottom side. But that's okay. It's still level enough for to be an incense holder, which is my only intent with this. Um, and it does a good job. I'll do another piece here where it's wider. I'm not catching all of the ash coming off the incense as it burns, but it's been a good opportunity to experiment with a flux uh, in the slip, mixed in a slip, in the slip, um, to make it sticky, binding, and glassy. So I'm happy with that. Frankenstein.